and thank you for appearing today. Trust in platforms, social media platforms in particular, has decreased because they already censor indiscriminately and subversively, and people know that. People check accuracy by, as you pointed out, by consulting many services. So isn't open debate the best way to confront misinformation and disinformation? Open debate in search of the truth.
Senator, it's a really good question, and as I said in my submission or opening statement, I've been in this industry for a long time, and when social media first came on, in actual fact, there was a view that we shouldn't even be using it for engaging because for similar things you couldn't trust it, etc. And in the main, I would suggest in line with democracy and in line with freedom of speech, there is a self-regulatory aspect of all of these platforms. However, I do believe that when there is direct, in particular disinformation, which is actively trying to put information into the system that either disrupts, causes harm, etc. I think that there needs to be some ability to have some sort of intervention, and from my perspective, not in a censorship perspective, but around ensuring that the information, the accurate information, is amplified and is corrected. So that's sort of the thoughts, and that's the approach that we take in the crisis and emergency management environment.
So we're agreed then, and I missed your opening statement. I'm sorry because I lost my sound. I had to log back in.
It was circulated, not delivered, so it's been circulated. You should have it, but we'll make sure that it has been sent to you, but it has now been published, I believe.
Thank you. Now the government says that it can't trust social media platforms. I wholeheartedly agree. The platforms are the problem. Isn't it then quite ludicrous that to address a lack of transparency, we trust the purveyors of dishonesty, the social media platforms?
Sorry, Senator, I'm not sure of the question that you're actually asking me. If you could help me understand the specifics.
Sure. Yeah. Perhaps I asked it in an awkward way. The government says that we cannot trust social media platforms, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. The platforms are the problem. So it seems very strange to me that in order to address the lack of trust in social media, we ask the foxes looking after the chickens and we entrust the lives of the chickens with the foxes. In other words, we ask the social media platforms to ensure trust is upheld.
Thanks, Senator, for clarifying that. Look, again, I can only speak about how we operate and how we see it. I mean, there's a range of different aspects. The other thing that we actually are part of, we're not the drivers of, but when there is abhorrent, information that's been posted online, we're part of that system that puts it into the e-Safety Commissioner to actually ensure that is brought down, again, for those reasons. So if I look at it through purely a technical capability, those that own the platforms clearly have to be part of the solution. Now, as I said, I think there's a range of different aspects to that, and they have to be part of the solution, because at the end of the day, those platforms, have the broadest reach. They're so powerful. They're so engaged, and not only that, with, as you've highlighted, the algorithms that they can use, their reach. So I think that they must be part of the solution.
Well, isn't that the root cause? And I'm glad you raised it. We need to have complete transparency to find out what their algorithms do, what they restrict, what they let through. That's the first point, if you could address that. And secondly, there's no arbiter of truth. So in your line of work, people die if lies are told and misinformation is spread. People die. How do we? Who's the arbiter of truth in this in this bill?
I think what you've highlighted, I can't speak about the technical aspects of the algorithms, but I mean, obviously, we also work with some of these social media platforms in a positive way, to help us to understand what the impacts are, what the consequences are, as a very, very rich data source. But the point about who is the point of truth is back to my, back to what I addressed with Senator Cadell, that it's about the authoritative source amplifying the key messages and the accuracy and upholding that public trust. So that's an important part. Now that means that we have to work a lot harder at, sort of being in that environment. But as I said in my opening statement, Senator, I actually believe that in our system we can save, as you've touched on, more lives, reduce more harm, and uphold public trust by good messaging, good communication, and good warnings. And if there are any disruptions to that, then that actually reduces the amplification. So we just then have to work harder at making sure that the information that we've got, the systems that we've got, can actually meet the requirements in this new world. The speed in which information circulates and changes, the technologies that are used, change literally nearly on a quarterly basis. So every 3 months we're seeing refresh, changes, and for us that's the thing that we need to. So for me, what the bill does do is provides another lever that can, I'll use the term, influence what the negative impacts are.
Thank you. Rather than give untrustworthy social media platforms the power to control speech and to censor people, and that's what's essentially done in this bill, wouldn't it be better to get to the truth through open debate, which is fundamentally what you're suggesting when you dig down beneath the words? Open debate, free open debate, is the best form of getting to the truth.
Well, Senator, I can't disagree with that statement because, that's what our business is, very much around transparency, openness, sharing the best data, sharing the best information. I do think, though, that there is value in having, some levers that can influence some of these, giant platforms, and they are giants. I said about that they have a global reach and they can influence very, very quickly. And we've seen that in many examples in history where the disruption of social media in our social cohesion, in our democracies and all that has changed significantly. So I absolutely support the open debate and the transparency, but I also do believe that there is some value in having levers that can influence these companies.
Thank you. President Trump.
Senator Roberts, we are going to have to rotate the call.
Thank you, Chair.
Okay, thank you.